Welcome back, my dear ladies, to another episode of the Amazing Aquarian Age Women. I'm Tanya, your host, and today I'm really excited to have my fabulous friend Anita here. Hi, Anita.
Hi.
Anita is in Slovenia and she's a life and business coach. Welcome, Anita.
Thank you for having me on your show. I'm honored to be in such a good company.
Thanks. Me too. Anita, you told me you help people to get out of their good girl or good boy habit. What does that mean?
Yes, I love how you put it. It's so simple. Good girl habit or good boy habit. Yes, I will first tell what it does not mean. It does not mean that my clients will go crazy and completely wild and start doing criminal activities or something like this. It is mean that since they're always good to everyone else, they will actually become good towards themselves as well. Yes, they will start listening themselves more, and they will start following what they actually want, what is in their heart, what they want for themselves, instead of listening to all the shoulds that they perhaps internalized during their life. And yes,
That sounds exciting. Yes.
yes, it is.
Can you elaborate a little bit more than what happens that somebody becomes a good girl or a good boy?
Yes, I usually work because I am myself one with children of adult children of alcoholics or people from other types of dysfunctional families, or if there was a chronic illness in the family or poverty. In such families, there are common patterns of behavior, of emotions, of communication, or better to say, miscommunication. And the children in such families start to becoming a little adults early on. So some go in this way where they overcompensate and they become super responsible and they want to save their family, and they are great at school or they excel at sports, art, etc. They kind of want to save the family honors or family's honor. And then on the other side of spectrum are children who decompensate, and they go into all kinds of trouble, or they start being addicts themselves, or become super angry or depressed. And I work with those people on this side of spectrum who are super achievers, overachievers. And
Okay,
yes, okay.
yeah, I get. So we have like two different ways the child can go. It's either to
Yes, it's
become
on the
really good
spectrum.
and really nice, save the family, have good grades, or the other way is like they're going to rebel, they're going to.
Yes, and what is common to both of them, to all of them on the spectrum, is they all have bad self-esteem. So even those on the achieving side who are overachievers have many proof from the outside world that they are successful, that they are good, and that they inspire other people. On the inside, they still feel like they're not enough and that they should improve and do better. Their internal talk is shitty. I,
And what kind of problems bring the clients that come to you? What
yeah,
what do they tell you like they want to solve?
yes, they usually want to work on their business idea or some other idea that they want to bring into life, but it happens that they constantly self-sabotage. So if they have obligations to other people, they are great. They do what needs to be done. They excel. But when they actually want to do their own thing, it happens that they just don't do it, and they don't know why they don't do it.
Oh, that's very interesting. And how do you usually coach? What happens in your coaching sessions?
Yes, we definitely work on their goals that they have, but underneath so much is going on. We work on their sense of self-love and self-worth, and how to draw boundaries, and how to put themselves first, so that they realize that they are equally worthy as other people walking down this planet, that they are not less, and that they are not anymore in the position of child. We work on developing those stages that they skipped as children. As children, for example, they didn't get healthy attention, they didn't get encouragement, they didn't get support, and we learn how to start giving this to ourselves. And also we start working on how to ask for this from other healthy people. Yeah, and we also work a lot on this, that it's okay to say no, that it's okay to say no to hanging out with people who drain you, who just talk about themselves all the time, and where there is no space for you. And we work on developing those healthy relationships where there is space for two people to come together and enjoy their common time together, in a healthy way, also in a way that is free of addictions. Even though I'm not working that much on addictions, it's not my scope, but we work on having the courage to be vulnerable with other people, and open, and ask for help, and ask for support, and being able to show your emotions and sadness or joy as well with other people, because sometimes it happens that these people are afraid to show joy, because in the family they were so used to things being hard, um, and people not supporting them when they are happy, like, why are you so happy? Yes, so we expand capacity for joy as well, and for expressing this joy. And yeah, and we work a lot on expressing themselves, their true self, their true desires.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yes, it is. It
You,
is so. Can I continue?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it is so beautiful when I witness that people become kinder with themselves, that they it shows that they inner talk with themselves is changing, because they speak differently about themselves, and there is more of this glow on their faces, and they become calmer and more joyous. It's okay, now this sounds so like a fairy tale, but they actually have to uh, face their dragons and demons and hard things, and there's also a lot of sadness that comes up, uh, anger, but it is all worth it, and we make friends with the heavy feelings.
It sounds great, and I can see your passion in there to help people. I'm sure you are very happy that you found this way to help
Yeah.
other people, and you accessed yourself this skill. And how did that happen? How did you find? That
Yes, first I must tell that I'm super happy to do this always after the session. I'm like, yes, yes, and I'm glowing myself, and I'm like, oh, I love to do this so much. Uh, so yes, I was always into personal development, and I was quite self-aware, and I was doing my first business was making eco-friendly accessories, and I loved this business and I loved my customers, but I burned out anyway. And there were more things that came together why I burned out. Um, it was a combination of different things. So one of the things was that I finally started living on my own, and when I was on my own, I had space, had silence. All the things that I before pushed down into the subconscious, or that those things didn't have space, safe space to emerge, they all started coming up, and I started feeling like I'm going completely crazy, like I should go into mental hospital. um, yeah, and I really become super ashamed of myself. I felt guilty all the time. It was like this toxic shame, and I felt like everyone who sees me as a bad person. It was, yeah, a very heavy period in my life. And mm, other thing that contributed to this burnout was me having no boundaries, not knowing how to say no. If somebody asked me to do something, I did it because I was afraid that if I say no, they will say, oh, she's such a B word and she does not care about people. Or if I wanted to raise my prices, I felt super guilty. Like all these things where you don't have a healthy sense of self and you don't have healthy boundaries, and everyone can step onto you because you're this kind, good person. Yeah, and I actually needed some years to figure out what happened to me. At first, when I burnt out, I just thought I'm super lazy and I was beating myself up so much. And then pieces started coming together, but the most, no, all the pieces were important, but the piece that was missing for me was uh, this awareness, like facing this, that I'm an adult child of alcoholics, and that even though I had in many ways good life, that I still had consequences of being raised in such family. And another thing was reading about complex PTSD, that I became aware that I actually had trauma in my life, because before trauma was such a big word and this happens to other people. Like trauma that was word for those people who were sexually abused or those people who went through war. Not for me. But I realized that yes, I'm having consequences of trauma. And I also transitioned into coaching during this time, and uh, I the first clients I had, even though my focus was not yet adult children, uh, I realized that all the clients I worked with had in common that they came from homes that you actually cannot call home. Those were not safe homes where they would feel supported. They were not encouraged to do what they love. They had no emotional support. Uh, yes, and then when I realized about me being an adult child, I thought, oh, that could be my niche, like these overachievers from dysfunctional homes.
mhm. And do you think it was more of a gradual adjustment to find exactly your niche, or was it like a one moment you realized, ah, I got it. That's what I work with.
It was gradual. First, I was I had this realization that I'm working with people who didn't have a healthy sense of home, who didn't feel safe in their family, and as a consequences, also often in their own bodies. But I didn't know how to put this kind of niche into words and um, how to explain it in a way that makes sense. And when I started reading about adult children and about complex PTSD, it was all like, oh yes, this makes sense, this makes sense. Oh, that's how I can put it in words. That's how I can put into words what I do and explain it to other people. And I'm still not sometimes sure if I explain it well enough.
You were
But
talking about complex PTSD. Would you like to just give a brief definition of it? And then also that book you told me about, which you read.
oh yes, this is the book from Pete Walker. It's how it's the I think it's from surviving to thriving, complex PTSD from surviving to thriving, and um, I don't know the exact definition of complex PTSD, so I will put it in my own words. If everyone, or I guess everyone in personal development or who has a bit of interest in psychology heard about PTSD. It's this, usually the example that you read is about war veterans. Did I say the word right? Veterans, who, for example, they are at the party and a balloon pops and there's a noise and they are afraid like it's a bomb or something like this, and they go into this emotional flashback. Um, but complex PTSD is a bit more complex. It's not um, usually one traumatic event, but more of traumatic events during childhood. And when you like think back, sometimes you don't see that something really traumatic happened because it was a pattern of traumatic things happening all the time that it kind of it's a kind of a blur. And but other things are very similar. So one example how can complex PTSD show up like this flashback event uh, is when you have to ask for a raise in a job, and because when you as a children had to ask your parents for money, uh, they, for example, yelled at you or made you feel guilty for always having needs and always wanting something, and made you feel guilty and ashamed. Then when you try to ask your boss for a raise, even though you mentally know that you deserve it and that you are a hard worker and all the things, and your body, you feel like, uh, I can't, like, emotionally, and your nervous system is still caught up in being a child.
Hmm. That explains that so many people have problems to ask for what they're worth or to set the boundaries.
Yes, yes, yes. Because
Hmm.
if your boundaries were breached all the time,
And
you don't
ignore.
have this
Hmm.
healthy sense of no, that's enough.
Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Okay, thanks for this explanation. We will link also the book below. Pete Walker, you said. We'll find it.
Yes, I recommend this book so much. It opened my eyes in so many ways. One example, if I can share it, it's about therapy. When I was first searching for therapists years ago, I didn't have a good experience. I didn't really connect with that therapist. And then I generalized that all therapists are like this and they don't really know what they are doing. And in that book, he said that it is worth searching for a therapist that gets you, even though you might not find it right away. You can find it at fifth or sixth try. So keep on trying. And I had a luck that on my second attempt I had a really good therapist. Yeah.
Lucky. Good. Okay. Would you like to say something to our viewers, something important? And then we close this interview.
Yes. Two things. First thing is something that also Pete Walker talks about, and it's about if you are not ready yet to find a therapist or to get support from other people, keep working on yourself, do your inner work, read books, take online courses, help yourself. And when you are ready, or even if you still feel a little bit afraid, uh, please find help from other people. Start asking your friends for support, start searching for a therapist, start searching for a coach, because the emotional damage the, the emotional damage happened in the relationships, and it can be healed in the relationships. And it's miraculous how much more beautiful life becomes, and how faster, and how with how much more inner peace and joy you work on your goals, and how better your everyday life becomes when you allow yourself to have support from other people and to be seen, heard, and loved. It's so beautiful, and you are so worthy of it, so completely worthy of it, even though you might not feel like it at times.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Anita, for this interview today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So if people want to contact you, the homepage is
AnitaPuksic.com. So Anita Puksic.com.
okay. I will link it below. You're also on LinkedIn, you said, and you are starting a YouTube channel now.
Yes, and you can find me at both channels as Anita Puksic.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks, and have a good day, Anita.
Same to you.
Namaste.
Bye bye.
Bye.